not.
That's right. It's me. No, John. I'm hosting, but actually, I'm not just hosting Suns Jam. Suns Geek and I are live streaming together tonight. Suns Geek, Suns Jam collab. How's everyone doing out there? Suns Geek, how you doing, man?
Fantastic, man. 8-0 with Kevin Durant. Once again, we're live on both channels. Thank you, StreamYard, for letting us do this. I wish they would have let us do it a lot sooner. But either way, it's going to be a great show, man. Great win tonight. And we definitely got a lot to talk about, even though it doesn't really seem like it, but we got lots to talk about.
Yeah, we'll try to do it. I mean, the Suns last game started the game. First 8 minutes, amazing. Just perfect basketball, both ends. Tonight, it was the last 6 minutes where it's like, okay, this team looks legit again. After watching that whole game, you're like, what is going on? But honestly, the last 6 minutes, I felt pretty good. I did take a walk at halftime. I'm like, I got to go take a walk because I know none of this means anything, but I still have to watch it. I got to take a walk. So I took a walk. And I played the Wayne's World intro, or on the intro, the Wayne's World scene. Someone actually they commented about me hosting last time, and it reminded them of that. And I just thought that was the funniest thing ever. So I had to put that on there. My voice is a little gone, but we'll get through this. Might be a little nasty. Suns Geek, you know I don't drink, but are you drinking anything tonight to get through this game?
I'm going crazy tonight, man. I got a good old Coca-Cola.
Crazy. Oh, you know what? It is Thursday, though. Do you have tomorrow off?
Yeah, I do, actually. I should be probably having a drink, but I just figured Coca-Cola for tonight. I've had a couple cups of coffee, you know.
Yeah, I keep thinking tonight is Friday because I have Friday and Monday off, but
feels like Friday.
Yeah, exactly. But no drinking for me. You know what, dude? It's gonna be a tough pod to get through, maybe because there's not too much to talk about. We have some other things we want to talk about. The NBA.
Oh yeah.
The new Nets leaked jersey, because we all know we're Brooklyn Nets fans too. Other than being a Suns
apparently
fan
ever since Mikhail, yeah, exactly, the Twins.
yeah. So we'll talk about that. Talk about a lot of good stuff. But let's get this thing started. Suns win 119-115. 119-115. They barely pulled out. Last 6 minutes, as I said, looked pretty good. Everyone was just completely dead the whole game. I think Chris Paul maybe was playing a little bit hard. You know, it's hard for him to kind of take a night off.
Yeah.
But the rest of the team just was like not having it. The last 6 minutes, they pick it up. But first, Suns Geek, I got to ask you something.
Matthew, I got to ask.
Other than how annoying my voice is going to sound probably all night, have you watched, I asked you this before and I did tweet it out, no one really cared, but this season, are you glad it's over? Is this like the hardest winning season you've ever had to watch? Being a Suns fan, the NBA season as a whole, I didn't get to watch really a meaningful game. Of course, every game's meaningful, but I don't remember walking away and being like, or turning off the TV like, wow, that was a great win. That was a must win. You know what I mean? So now I just feel like all these games just kind of seem like, it's all right. Are you just glad the season's over?
Well, for the Phoenix Suns season, I feel like we've had like 3 different seasons, and I'm not even joking, man. I mean, obviously we had the start of the season before the trade deadline and everything, which was a roller coaster in itself, on and off the court, you know, all the Sarver stuff, all the losses, the inconsistency, and then all the crazy wins here and there. Then we had the Kevin Durant era begin. Then we had like the injuries and the KD when he missed a few games with the ankle injury and all that. And now we're getting this post KD trade, beginning of the playoffs season. It really just feels like multiple different seasons, man. But in terms of the NBA season, I guess I can kind of agree with you and kind of see what you're saying, because you're kind of right. Like, it's like, I don't really remember a game where it was like, oh, you had to have watched that game, and this game had huge implications on the rest of the season, and this team is now the more dominant team because they beat this team, you know. But that doesn't I don't think it should go overlooked that there has been some incredible performances this year and some crazy comeback wins and a few memorable games. But to answer your question, it has just been a roller coaster of a season, for better or worse, for the Suns. So I'm kind of glad it's over, but I'm also trying to just take in all that I can because, I don't know what's going to happen in the playoffs. Hopefully we can get to the finals and win a championship. But I'm trying to appreciate all of these games because we're going to be sitting there in July, August, September, and we're going to be bored. I mean, I'm not really a baseball guy and all that. So it's like, we're going to want basketball back. So I'm just trying to enjoy it all, man.
Yeah, no, I definitely I enjoyed the season, just because, of course, the Kevin Durant thing's huge. I think, just the loss of Mikal Bridges and Cameron Johnson was really heartbreaking, obviously, but just from the standpoint of watching all the NBA games and looking forward to Thursday nights or, the Friday night games because I have no life. It's like I would like to see some competition, but it just seems like it kind of takes a back seat and everyone's waiting for the playoffs. So,
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost there. We're almost there. And right now the Nuggets are locked into 1 seed, or they will be with one more win. The Suns are the 4th seed, and
They
it looks
pretty
like
much are. They're pretty
yeah,
much
I
the
mean,
1
we'll
seed.
probably pretty much
Yeah.
we're going to be playing the Clippers.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the team we're going to match up with. In the second round matchup, it might be the Nuggets again. I don't think it'll be a sweep,
Yeah.
but the Suns right now are definitely the favorites coming out of the West. Do you see, like, after tonight, the way they played, like, the first 8 minutes last game, the last 6 minutes of this game, is that enough to show you, like, hey, a full 48 minutes, seeing what you saw from the bench, seeing how busy it's just he's been outstanding, I feel like. Craig's a great guy coming off the bench. He did finish tonight, but he's a great guy coming off the bench now. Is this a game or is this a team that you actually believe in to get to the finals from what you've seen so far?
Oh,
Like
yeah.
100%, do you believe that?
Absolutely. And you know what? To an extent, even before we got Kevin Durant, I'm not saying like our roster pre-KD would have gotten us to the finals, but I trusted a lot of the guys coming off of our bench because people forget, even though we struggle at times pre-KD trade, we were injured, but we were still winning games. We were still staying afloat. And then even just recently, we're still winning games. Devin Booker was carrying us. We've seen so many games where like Terrence Ross goes off like 24, 30 and gets us the win. Just guys stepping up, man. And, like tonight, I mean, Torrey Craig was really good. Terrence Ross. It's like this team is locked in. And I know we're probably going to talk about it later, but just guys sitting out and the whole load management debate, which seems like something we're going to be talking about for decades or whatever. It's like these guys just want to play. Most of them have the experience, you know what I mean? They've been in the playoffs. They've been in these scenarios. They don't really have like experience like Kevin Durant has in the playoffs and everything, but most of these guys have been there. Devin Booker's been to the finals. He knows what it takes. These guys want to hoop, man. I truly believe that if we stay healthy, it is finals or bust. It has to be. We can't just get to the Western Conference Finals. We have to get to the finals. Got to win a championship, man. It's now or never. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, and that's a lot to take on for this team.
Yeah.
I think when you look at the depth chart, you look at it on paper, yeah, you have Booker and Kevin Durant, and you have in Chris Paul this year, a guy that can shoot. He didn't have 0 assists, I think, in the first 3 quarters of the game.
It's crazy.
Which is insane tonight, but you have a DeAndre Ayton who's still learning. A guy that sometimes, he might feel and look out of sync, and he might not catch the ball underneath the basket, but he has to fill those holes, and I think he will. He'll step up. I just think this team right now, it's kind of hard to tell, but yeah, looking on paper, it's like Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. But let's talk about Kevin Durant.
Who the heck are you?
Yeah, I'm Kevin Durant. You know who I am. Y'all know who I am.
Did anybody see a sniper? Did anybody see anything?
I'm one of the best players to ever play the game.
So Kevin Durant, like, he started a little slow like everybody else, but man, when he stood up tall and he took over in the 4th, oh my God, dude. I was actually, for some reason, I don't have the stats. Do you have his stats in front of me? I just closed out. What were his stats for the night?
41 minutes. I think that's something to note down first off. But he had 29 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 1 block, and 6 for 10 from 3. And he was 9 for 18 from the field. Kevin freaking Durant. Like, that's it, man. His first 3 of the game, I don't know if it was like a broken play, but it was him and Bruce Brown. It seemed like guys were just kind of clearing out. He just waited a minute and just stood up against Bruce Brown, and just popped the 3 in his eye, man. It was just so many of those shots tonight. Little turnaround fadeaway over like Jeff Green and Christian Braun, I believe. He had a couple of those turnaround mid-range shots and just kept draining threes. And then you referenced earlier, like the final 6 minutes, it seems like the Suns actually woke up and started playing. And that was when KD started taking over. He had like 14 in the fourth quarter, I believe, or 12 in the fourth quarter.
It skyrocketed.
Yeah. He was incredible tonight, man. But again, the 41 minutes I think is important. Especially if he doesn't play these next 2 games, which I'm sure is still yet to be determined. I think tonight was huge.
Yeah, that's a question too. That right here, Varane. I can't pronounce. I can't read this. So will KD play tomorrow?
I don't know, because the way I look at it,
is that the reason, or just because we got it clinched?
Both, and really because I think as much rest as possible for right now is big, but also it's like, I just think, I think it's honestly because it's Klitsch, but also Monty Williams is a little, you know how Monty Williams is. I feel like it's literally a game time decision for Monty Williams and the Suns.
Yeah.
Maybe there's a scenario where they could just play the first half. I highly doubt that happens, but I really feel like Monty Williams is going to be like, oh, I don't know. We'll see when we're out there in warm-ups or whatever. But yeah, I think it's pretty much because it's clinched and because he played a chunk load of minutes tonight, which at first I wasn't really sure how I felt about all that. I was like, wait a minute. I was like, 3 games, till we get a week off for the play-in stuff. And then there was also a point later in this game where I was like, I kind of want to win this game and I want the starters to keep getting minutes. Because again, like, what if we don't play tomorrow or what if they don't play tomorrow and Sunday? So I don't really know where I was going with all that.
No,
I think it's literally going to be a game time decision.
It's up in the air. There's 2 more games. Right. This was game 80, right?
Games,
I saw John Bloom post game number 79 tonight, but I'm like, maybe he just missed the game.
Yeah.
Is that what he was talking about? Probably. Because he usually posts a photo before every game. The thing is with KD, the whole thing with this sitting out, KD, even Ayton, even Booker, I kind of wanted them to keep playing just to get used to each other, but I don't know what 2 games is really going to do. And then you have a week off.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Can you just take it off and then practice the whole week? And I want to get your take too on having a week off before we play.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that? And the number 1 seed not knowing their opponent till they're the last ones in both conferences to know who they're playing going to the playoffs.
That's an excellent
is that
question.
fair? And should they fix that? Because what I'm hearing, and I've heard it on a few podcasts, even Kevin O'Connor talks about it on The Ringer, the number 1 seed should pick their opponent. So a few questions. A week off, too much? Is it fair that the number 1 seed doesn't know their actual opponent, and should they choose their own opponent going forward next year maybe?
Maybe I'll answer the last question first. Maybe next year or in the future, and the only reason I say that is because the NBA loves to experiment for better or worse. Beyond that, I don't know if I have much of an opinion on it. Beyond that, I don't really know if that's, I don't want to say fair, but I feel like the play-in tournament has a lot to decide with all that. Again, maybe they could experiment. But to answer the week off question, for the Phoenix Suns, I believe it's actually a good thing just because of the circumstances that we've talked about really this whole podcast is, KD just coming back from the injury, only 8 games with him so far, 8-0, by the way. And it gives us time to rest. But not only that, you said a key word here, practice, because it may not seem like it, but these teams really don't have much time to practice. I guess technically you could consider a shoot around a practice, but like an actual full-on practice with multiple days off, I think it's going to be really good for this Suns team. But I hope that in game 1, they don't come out stagnant. You know what I mean? Because sometimes even a week off is sort of a bad thing. But I feel like for the Suns, it's good. But a team like the Nuggets maybe, or like the Celtics, could be bad for them. We're just going to have to see. And what was the second question? I'm sorry.
Oh, I don't remember. Jamsters, do you remember? There was too many questions at once, and that's my bad. I should take it one at a time.
No, it's all
I don't
good.
know why I'm throwing so much at you though. But you know what? The way that things are gonna end up in the next few years with the NBA, things are gonna be drastically different. We're trying to just attract more viewers, right? They are, excuse me. They're trying to just make sure that everyone's happy all the time. Everyone's just unhappy with anything. Even LeBron talked about these back-to-backs. Like whoever made the schedule set these Lakers up for loss. Everybody goes through the same thing. All these teams do. The reason we have back-to-backs, I don't know still. Of course, certain amount of games, a certain amount of time. But that's the first thing I feel like they're going to fix.
Yeah.
Then they got to figure out the playoffs and making everything meaningful, even the regular season.
Yeah.
It goes to like the ticket holders, the guys that are the people that are spending that much money to go see the Suns play or any team. It's going to suck because you don't know who's playing.
Yeah.
Like that's the biggest thing for me. And you're just making these guys care about the game, making sure that everything does matter in a way. Because like you get to the NBA, that's it. Like that's your dream come true, right? But then when you get there, it doesn't matter. So you realize that this game does not fulfill any kind of, it doesn't satisfy you in the way you thought it would. So then you just don't give a shit.
Right.
So that's how I always see it. And it's kind of depressing, but that's just how I see it, man. Where the regular season is just not going to mean anything. Like this season, you know, you can get in on a shitty record and then just go and play in the playoffs. And if you don't make it, then it was a bust. But I don't know, man. There's just a lot to unfold there and unpack. And I'm sorry I laid it all on you.
No, that's okay. Just real quick.
Sorry about my voice still. Yeah,
it's okay.
I apologize, James.
Just real quick. This is a completely different conversation for another time, but this is kind of why at very first I wasn't a big fan of the play-in tournament. Because if I remember correctly, like last season, the Cavs won like 40-something games and they didn't get in. And I was like, they deserve to get in. And now we might see that with like the OKC Thunder this year, or like the Timberwolves, like teams that have won close to 40 games or over 40 games. Sorry if you can hear my dog crying in the background.
No, I never hear dog.
But teams that deserve it, and you could make the argument like, oh, well, they shouldn't have lost this certain amount of games. They shouldn't be in this position. But I'm like, well, sometimes that's not the case. Like Karl Anthony Towns was out for a chunk load of the season. And the whole back-to-backs things, maybe that does need to be addressed in all fairness, but LeBron, of all people, shouldn't be complaining about that. That's just my personal. Yeah.
That one sounded like a witch. And it sounded like, you ever play the game Left 4 Dead? You know the witch?
Yeah, I've seen it.
You hear her crying. Oh, that was the freakiest part of the game.
I'm a big fan of like paranormal horror movies, and that kind of reminded me of some of those scenes.
Yeah. Well, let's go back to the Suns a little bit. Tonight, we did get to see Jock Landale.
Jesus, this is a nice limo.
Yes, it is. Now suck my
Jock Landale.
And that's probably all we're going to see from him. I mean, unless Busy gets in foul mode, foul mode, he better not get in foul mode and cause a lot of fouls. But foul trouble, then we might see more of Jock. But I just think it's a thing where Monty just threw out there today because, you know, there's playing time out there. You probably will play in the next 2 games. Playoffs going forward, though, you're going to see a lot of Bismack. Bismack, he's been pressed in a few different things that he's been coming up short on this year. In that the jump hook, it's improved. His free throws, I did not look at the stats, but they're actually hitting the rim. Not as bad. I think it's nice to see that because, you know, he's been playing some decent minutes in the playoffs. Get into the line, and he's going to have to hit some big free throws, right? I mean, that jump hook, I actually can live with right now. Am I wrong by saying that? I've been thinking that the last 3 or 4 pods where I'm like, I see an improvement. And when I see him down the block, I'm like, get that jump hook up.
Yeah.
Get it up. Like he's like the little salt guy when he's throwing it or flicking it. You know, the salt dude?
Yeah.
That's what it reminds me of. But I'm just like, get it up, man. I trust it. Might not make it every time, but it's looking better. Or am I wrong?
I'm going to sound like a talking old head right here, but I don't know why more players don't go to the baby hook or the sky hook or whatever hook you want to call it. Why don't players do that? The second all-time leading scorer, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, did that for his entire career. So I don't get why players don't do it more often, man. That's why every time someone does do it, I recognize it. even if it's like a floating or a driving sky hook, just get it up there, man. I don't know why more
Yeah.
players don't do that. But to kind of answer the question, stay on topic here, I feel like it has improved. It just kind of looks sort of flat sometimes when it goes up, or maybe he's not jumping high enough. I don't know. But and also the free throw thing, that could be a real possibility in the playoffs. That they might go to the hack a shack or hack a busy. But yeah, 2 out of 2 tonight. I'll take it, man. But another thing too is I'll just never forget how great Busy played against like an Anthony Davis recently and a Joel Embiid like a week ago or whatever. You know, he arguably had some of his best games of his career against two of the best big men in the league. And that's what we're going to need. And Jock Landale tonight, not very good. It seemed like at first with him and KD, they sort of had a pick and pop thing going, a pick and roll
Yeah, the
thing.
first games together.
Yeah.
The first,
But then tonight, like KD like found, like he was like cutting to the rim or Jock was cutting to the rim. KD found him and he couldn't grab the ball and he turned it over. And I didn't see too much.
That was when KD just didn't want to be in the game. It just seemed like KD was like, I don't want to be in this game tonight.
Seemed like half of the Suns, man, they seemed like they were playing on such a weird pace tonight until like you mentioned that final 6 minutes. Yeah.
You come out and you're playing a Nuggets team that's just their bench. It must feel very weird.
Second game in a row.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get up for that, and then the bench that's sitting over there with Jokic and Jamal Murray, they're like just laughing at you because you're playing hard against this team. Like it's a hard thing to deal with, and as a fan, it's like you don't know what to feel and what to think either because you're hoping because Stephen A, everyone's picking the Suns to come out of the West, and you're just hoping to see things like we did in the last 6 minutes that make you believe, and you want to see a full 48 with the bench and the starters. But then if you do come out there and you play the way you want to see, that, the intensity, the way that they can just take over offensively. If that happens against this team, then you're just like, okay, well, I mean, it didn't mean anything. So here we are in the last 2 games. We just got to get through. And it's not going to mean much. But Jamsters, thanks for hanging out with us. I just want to say, make sure to go ahead and like, subscribe. And I want to give a shout out too on Spotify. I did say last pod, I'm like, we're almost to 100 5-star reviews and we're at 98 now. So we got, I think 9 more. Since last podcast, but we're 2 away, so we want to see that. But Suns Geek, do you call your fans, your watchers, anything? Do you have a nickname for them, like Jamsters?
Fellow Suns Geeks. Just that's the closest thing I call it. I do need to come up with a name for them, but yeah, I just call them Fellow Suns Geeks.
Okay, awesome.
They're the real Suns Geeks, man. I mean, they've been, how long they've been supporting me, so they're the Fellow Suns Geeks.
Yeah, forever. And so shout out, go ahead, like, subscribe, all the good stuff. Leave a review, we will read it. Here's a drop we haven't seen in a while.
Ross.
The Outlet Boys.
Woo! All right, here we go. Come on, voice. I swear, weak. It's a Lissy thing. Just our voices are weak. I don't know. Sorry. All right. So Ross looked pretty good. I mean, the 3 for 4, 2 for 3, the 8 points. You like to see that. TJ did not play this game. Last 2 games TJ played did not look very good. We actually saw something from them a while ago that looked great. 2 great games in a row. Scoring like 15 each. And then, Ross had that huge game following that. But now it's like you want to continue to count on them. And games like this, you obviously don't care, but TJ missing tonight's game and then the last 2 games just kind of like, I don't know. Is this a guy you trust getting minutes? Because we talked about before him trying to be maybe being a starter, maybe being a guy you can throw in there for a Kogi. Now, after the last 2 games and he's not playing tonight, I don't believe that, obviously. If anything, Craig might replace a Kogi. But, I mean, TJ and Ross, these guys, I'm excited still to see them in the playoffs. I think they're going to be lights out some games. Yeah. But any worries on them heading into the playoffs?
I think the key word that you mentioned was trust. And it's not that Monty Williams doesn't really trust his guys. I mean, they probably wouldn't even be on the team if he didn't. But I think it's just more also consistency, because you kind of mentioned like TJ, even with Terrence Ross as well. They'll have a couple good games here and there, then they'll cool down. But at the same time, as I kind of referenced earlier, these are guys, especially like a Terrence Ross, who can help lead you to victory in a big playoff game. And I've been praising TJ Warren as of late. I think he's been great on the defensive end. Just knows where to be, plays hard every possession, even if that ball isn't going in the rim. And I feel like Terrence Ross is the same way, man. The dude is a streaky, lights out shooter at times. He has experience in this league. So I don't really know if this answers your question. I just think it's all about consistency. I mean, look at like a Landry Shamet, for example, tonight, and just guys that need to get more minutes and need to step up and then start getting that ball in the damn rim, man.
Yeah.
It's just all about consistency with this team, man. But I think the trust is there. Do Suns fans trust Terrence Ross and TJ Warren? That's a completely different conversation, especially the very toxic Suns Twitter. But I thought Terrence Ross looked good tonight. And when the lights are shining brightest, hopefully TJ Warren and Terrence Ross can step up and win us some games.
Yeah, and Suns Geek, tonight, this pod itself is just, it's lost. It's not because I'm hosting without John or that, we don't have John's guidance tonight. But plus, I'm not just hosting by myself. I got Suns Geek here, but after a game like tonight, it's a little strange. It is a little strange. So I want to just do something different where I'm going to do this drop.
Jamsters react.
And you guys out there, ladies, guys, all y'all, leave your questions so we have some stuff to talk about towards the end of the pod. Because I'm sure we're going to run out of a few things. We can talk about the Suns if you want, but I'm just telling you right now, it's going to be a little difficult because what tonight we saw is not anything that's been, it's worth going over as much, right? I mean, Suns Geek, when we talked before, we wanted to talk about something different too. It was these New Jersey Nets, these Brooklyn Nets jerseys that are leaked for next year. What are your thoughts, Jamsters? So first, give us some questions. It could be about anything.
Yeah,
we'll answer your questions. And then thoughts on the Nets jersey. I mean, we're kind of Nets fans, I said earlier, right? I mean, it hurts to see Mikal thrive over there for me because I love the dude and Cameron Johnson just doing his thing. But these jerseys, 1 through 10, what do you give them?
I might sound a little optimistic here. I mean, that's how I like to do it on Suns Geek and whenever I'm on the Suns Jam Session podcast. But I give it like a 6 out of 10. First off, I think the most popular thing here is the font on the word Nets and then on that Brooklyn B on the bottom. That's a beautiful looking font. I think it looks cool. And I just don't really know where they were going with like the patterns and the lines. It kind of looks like paint was splattered all over it or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe that's what they were going for. But I think the font looks beautiful. Some of that like paint kind of went away a little bit. And I think the gray kind of throws it off. Beyond that, though, I think it's pretty solid. Not sure about the white inside either. See how it looks like white and gray? Yeah, I'm not really sure if that, I don't know if that was like a mistake. But also another thing, too, is the timing of the announcement of these jerseys kind of strange. This is like an off-season thing or like at the start of the season. I was like, the timing of that's kind of weird, but I give it like a 6 out of 10. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I'm right there with you. 5 out of 10. You want to be happy for the rest of your life. You got to make an ugly woman your wife, and you gotta marry a 5 or a 6, whatever. What did I say? No, a 5 or a 6. I'm thinking, but I'm gonna go 5. I love what the Nets do with their jerseys. I really do. They get a lot of shit.
Cool jerseys.
It's cool to start with black and white, and then you can build off of that because you can do whatever. And they have the graffiti thing, the artists out there in Brooklyn. I do like it. Here's some reviews as my voice cracks. Crazy Luigi gives it a 3. Big Sexy gives it a 2. Gambino, a 1.
Yeah.
Andrew Tate, big fan. A
Fresh
4.
out of jail.
Yeah. Just a time for a podcast. Yeah, I mean, they're okay. I don't get too mad at what they do. I like the creativity. It's a little different, but so there was something I noticed at the end of tonight's game, and it was that Craig did finish the game with the Suns. So I want to talk a little bit about this guy too.
Hey Joe, where you going with that gun?
Yeah, so Okogie, I mean, tonight only 5 points again. He hasn't really been putting up the numbers like he was before, but the hustle to start the game. I said only Chris Paul cared, but Okogie cared. This is his kind of game where you're playing against the bench that's starting, and then you have to like you can't overlook Okogie defensively. He was snatching the balls. He was running the fast break in that dunk. And then, it kind of just fell off from there. But I think the team was just like, hey, chill out. Hey, you're doing too much out there. You're trying too hard. But you know what? I still want him as our starter. And this is probably the question we're going to keep asking ourselves till the playoffs start. Craig looked good with that unit last 6 minutes when they took over. They took over the game. He looked fucking good.
Yeah.
Like everything he was doing on the court.
Yep.
His shot didn't really fall, but everything he was doing on the court defensively, I loved it.
Yeah.
Who's your starter? Who's your fifth? I don't know if I asked this before with you.
Well, yeah,
Is it still Okogie?
we talked about this with John. I think it's Josh Okogie. I think it's got to
Oh
be
yeah,
Josh
that's where I
Okogie.
saw it. Yeah.
But I also feel like my opinion has changed since we had that conversation. But change or not really changed, but just I have like my answer is Josh Okogie is what I'm trying to say because my brain doesn't want to work. But since we had that conversation, I think it is Josh Okogie. Until further notice. I mean, yeah, statistically, he's not going to do it every night, but like if he's falling apart on defense, which is probably extremely unlikely in the playoffs, or if he's just being inconsistent or whatever the case may be, even then, do you risk pulling him after a first round series or whatever? But if we know Josh Okogie, like I think we do know him, he's going to be consistent. He's going to lock players down on defense. He's going to occasionally hit that corner three because we've seen him have some offensive explosions this year and has really just improved overall as a player. I think his confidence is up from last year and he's just getting so much experience. He's still such a young guy. I had somebody in my comment section ask me, like, can we re-sign him for like a cheap deal, kind of like how we did this year? I was like, man, that would be incredible. But I'm like, he probably wants a little bit more money and he deserves the money. You know what I mean? And, but yeah, I think as of right now, until further notice, start Josh Okogie. And going back to Torrey Craig, I mean, 11 points in 22 minutes. And like you said, the energy and the hustle tonight was great. I sort of said this last time. He's sort of like a second unit, in my opinion, that we can bring off of that bench. And as long as he's consistent, maybe we can play him out there with KD and all that. Like, I think it's going to be good going forward, man.
Oh yeah, and I just think watching the last 6, like the first part of the game, it was very difficult to watch. And I know I talked about it earlier. It's like you don't know what to feel with this team. But seriously, like I was just thinking, I'm like, oh, I was trying to hit something. I was just thinking, like after that 6 minutes, though, I didn't know going into the playoffs that we're gonna win everything. I think the Clippers are gonna be a tough matchup without Paul George.
Facts.
Physicality. If this team doesn't know what to do, but they do. And I'm like, what am I talking about? The last 6 minutes, like they know what to do. The only guy is maybe Ayton, who just he needs to pay attention to stuff. There's a little bit out there where I'm just like, I don't know. I don't know if I trust him as much yet, but I feel like he's gonna have big games, like I said in the beginning.
Yeah.
All right, Jamsters. Suns Geek. Someone actually gave you a name. The Suns Geek something. What was it?
Yeah, it was like Suns Geek or Geek Squad, but
Geek Squad,
I'd have to add the Suns Geek in front of that. Suns Geek Squad.
Yeah, the Suns Geek Squad and the Jamsters out there. Listen, you guys, the ones that sit there and watch us, the ones that don't leave questions and don't say anything, do it. Ask us anything. All right.
I'm always encouraging my subscribers to get questions.
Yeah.
Sometimes I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time.
Come on, dude. Let's just.
And honestly, some of those questions are great. Like I get questions in certain. Yeah, I'm like, damn, dude. Like, why didn't I think of that question?
I love answering questions. I love just random people coming up to me and asking me questions.
Real quick, Stephen O in the chat. I don't know where he got his numbers from, but he said with 6 for 10 from 3-point field goals tonight, KD is officially shooting 50, 40, 90 from the season. Not that I didn't know where he got his numbers from, but where Stephen O.
Steve, okay.
Yeah, I believe it was on yours, but that's a great stat that he came up with. That's what I probably should have said. Because 50, 40, 90, that's a pretty elite class to be a part of.
Oh, yeah. That's what
I just wanted to shout him out.
That's what Kale's doing.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Great. So did you have any other notes from today's game at all?
A little bit. Again, like, not that it really matters, just we sort of turned the ball over to open up the second quarter. I was really just kind of just watching certain players closely, and I feel like
That's
I'm a
hard to do though. In today's game.
do you want to talk about DeAndre Ayton at all? Like, should we do the Ayton watch? I don't know.
Yeah. Let's do it. Let me bring it up right now, actually, because we got to get these in as much. You know, you only live once. You only live once, man.
Ayton watch.
Another day, another Ayton watch. What do you got from Ayton? What did you see from Ayton?
Nothing really too crazy, but I always do like to talk about Ayton in most of my live shows. Really just, and again, maybe this is kind of going to what you brought up about how the Suns kind of felt insulted in a way or disrespected. Maybe Ayton wasn't really 100% in this game. I'm not trying to make excuses for him. I don't want to sound like an Ayton stan because I'll criticize him when I get the chance. You know that. John knows that. But at the same time, I thought he looked okay. I mean, again, like his 16 points, 5 boards, 2 assists, 2 blocks aren't going to be anything crazy, but he was hitting some shots out there. He was being aggressive. I think he caught an alley-oop from Chris Paul, if I remember correctly. Did all he could on defense. And I don't really care what the NBA on TNT guys say, but I will say this. Chuck and Shaq were actually kind of making a couple good points. I hate to say that because I don't really care what they say. Pretty much Barkley said, like, 3 rebounds is unacceptable for DeAndre Ayton in the first half. I mean, he finished with only 5. He's kind of right on that. But Shaq also made a good point going back to this argument, like, DeAndre Ayton doesn't get the ball in his hands, yada, yada, yada. And I was like, if anybody would know that, it probably would be Shaq. Like, could you imagine if Shaq didn't get the ball in his hands when he was playing? So I guess kind of my point is I thought he was fine out there. I didn't think he was necessarily terrible. Does he need to rebound better? Absolutely. Does he need to block shots more? Absolutely. But are we a completely different team when he's not out on the floor? Yes. And do I think he's going to take it up a notch? I think he needs to take it up a notch in the playoffs. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah.
Not the worst game, not the best game. So,
and this is a perfect season for him where everyone's waiting for the playoffs. And, that frustrates me because I like to see a growing player continue to work on stuff. And that's the only thing. I'm just like, I want you to get better at this. That way you are prepared. But we'll see what he has in the playoffs, man. John Nelson does say Barkley is a hater now.
Yeah.
What did he say?
A hater.
But the thing is, like, guys, stop listening to him. He just says shit.
Yeah,
like, we act like he's God or something.
Yeah, you can tell like half of them just like look at the box scores, barely watch the game and all that. Because even Kenny Smith was kind of kind of debating with Charles Barkley, like disagreeing with him, if you will. But I don't really care what those guys say or like what Stephen A. Smith or any of those guys say. But tonight they kind of were spitting facts. And real quick, remember when we were talking about the sky hooks and stuff earlier?
Yeah.
DeAndre Ayton had a couple of those baby hooks tonight, and they went in, and they were good. And some of them were like he grabbed the offensive rebound and would go back up with the baby hook. So do that more, DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, just continue to do that. And there's a few questions too about Booker. We didn't talk about him.
Yeah.
Is it worth talking about?
Yeah, I'm like, should we talk about Booker?
He's just out there playing. He looked good in the last 8 minutes. He was trying to get his shot off. He was settling for stuff, just like, I don't know, I'll play his drop.
Big Dick Booker.
Booker did have 15 points, 3 of 12, 1 for 8 in the first half. Pretty bad. They're just out there right now. And like Geek's kind of, he talked me into it, like where I'm like, maybe they don't play next game. I wanted them to. But does it actually even matter? Because in games like this, it doesn't. Maybe just for stamina reasons, I think KD might play. Yeah. But I don't even think he needs that. Yeah. I think he's fine. I think this team's fine. I think you pack it up and you just wait.
It's funny, man. I saw So Says Jay on Twitter. He said something like, get them all out of the way now, Book. Like, keep missing those shots now so that you're ready to go in the playoffs. I thought that tweet was funny. And look, maybe Booker was just on cruise control. Maybe he was on autopilot. We all know Devin Booker can put the ball in the basket. I mean, is this the first time like ever on your podcast or on my show where we almost didn't talk about Devin Booker? I don't know if that's a compliment or
Oh
an
no, we
insult,
we probably
but
missed one
yeah,
episode this year with
exactly.
we didn't talk about him, and
Yeah.
he deserved it. But tonight, no one needs to be talked about. Like we shouldn't even be doing a podcast after that game. But we do have some questions. Are
Yeah.
you ready for some questions?
Let's go for it, man.
We
Let's
got
go
some.
for
We'll
it.
do this, and then I'll do the subreddit stakeout. Actually,
Do
I
it.
forgot to do it. Don't tell John. And I have it pulled up, so I wasn't even in there. But I'm gonna read some comments that I found while
Do
doing
it.
the podcast. I'm just gonna admit it. I forgot to go in there and do it. So yeah, that's me. All right, this is a good one. Impulsinator, what is your go-to bagel and cream cheese? Sesame and jalapeno. That's a good one. I used to be a baker. I used to bake bagels
Nice.
for
I didn't know
Bruegger's
that.
Bagels back in the day.
Awesome.
Yeah. What's
To
yours?
answer the question, man, I'm a little bit old school, and I will just kind of go with the original. But I bought some. I forgot the brand name, but I bought some blueberry bagels recently. They're
Yeah.
so good, man. So I'm gonna say blueberry, man. But I haven't tried it yet with cream cheese. I just kind of eat it plain.
Oh, dude. Mine is everything bagel with onion and chive,
Ooh,
cream cheese. Oh my god. You know what? I might get one tomorrow.
I'm a pig, man. I'll try
You're a
anything. That doesn't mean I'm gonna like everything, but I'll
Yeah.
try everything. So that sounds
Blueberry,
pretty
but you
good.
can't go wrong with blueberry and regular. You really
Blueberry's so
can't,
good.
man.
Yeah.
Uh, Christian Zabrowski says, "Why are we sweating these games?" I think we kind of just went over that.
Yeah.
We shouldn't be, I guess. I'm just for me. I guess this team knows who they are, and I should have listened to Chris Paul after KD got hurt. Like they asked him, like, "Is there any worry about him coming back in the time remaining?" He said, "Nope," and I should be like, "Okay, I'm good."
I
wake me up
responded to
when
a
the playoffs
tweet
start.
earlier when somebody asked like, "Oh, how come like," somebody said like the level of concern from Suns fans is like bad right now, or something like that. And I said, "Welcome to Suns Twitter." You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like don't believe everything you see on these Facebook groups and Suns Twitter. And we're not really sweating it. We're talking about it. We're Suns fans. It's what we do. It's I don't know.
Yeah, no, I mean, we worry. This is all we worry about, right?
Yeah.
It goes sons, family, then God, or sons, God, family. One of those mixes. That's how it is. So we do worry. Ariana Stewart says, did I pronounce it right? What's your dream first round matchup for the Suns? I'll
That's
go
a
first, and
great
I'll just
question.
say, I'll say the Clippers just because it's gonna be.
The
It
Clippers.
seems like a win.
Yeah.
But my dream is to play the Lakers and just fucking sweep them. I'm sick of their complaining ass and thinking that they can just match up who they want to and beat the Grizzlies or they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna be the 6th seed, are they? Do they have a chance? I didn't even look at that.
Then maybe they do because all the games have been played today, but I think it's unlikely they'd
look
get that
really
6th
quick.
seed. Yeah, I'm pulling it up as well.
So
They
Golden
are
State right now
currently
is
the
6th
7th
seed.
seed. Yeah.
So I mean, it looks like Golden State's probably gonna hold on to that. Lakers,
Yeah. I'm
7th
like, I
seed.
can't see them getting to that 6th seed. I
Go
doubt it.
ahead and play Denver. Get
Yeah.
whooped. I don't care. Golden State, go and play the Kings. I want them to get
Yeah.
whooped. I'm gonna be rooting for the Kings so hard, not because I want to play them, but because I want them to win. I want them to freaking win, dude. There we go.
Thank you for the kind
Stephon.
words, Elliot. I appreciate that.
Oh, what's that? I
You
missed
said
it.
Suns Geek seems like the nicest dude.
Oh yeah.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Elliot.
No, he is. Like anytime we ask him to be on the pod, he's there for us, and I really appreciate it. Let me see. Stefan Leonidas says, Matthew, in addition to Left 4 Dead, what are your top 5 video games of all time? Same for
Ooh.
Suns Geek. All right, I'll do top 5, not in any particular order. Left 4 Dead, I feel like is there. That game was the best online game I've ever played. It was the funniest game because you would you would see your friends just getting murdered by all these zombies, and there's nothing you can do about it, and just it's hilarious. I would put that up there. Metal Gear is actually my favorite game of all time. All the Metal Gears, the whole series, that's my favorite series. Grand Theft Auto, I think it'd be Grand Theft Auto 3, and then Vice City. That was definitely another one. And let me see. Oh, there's another one. Which other one should I say? Oh, God of War. God of War 4. Yep. The one, not the last one, but the one before that, that's the top 5. So that's my top 5.
That is an elite list of games. You're going to hate me, but I actually haven't played a lot of those games, but I've heard great things. I've seen great reviews and all that. I was kind of jumping off of screen there because I have some of my video games over here to the side of me.
Oh, nice.
And
Yeah.
these aren't necessarily my
excuse me.
top 5, but these are a few of my favorites, like the last 10 years. And since this is a basketball show, a Sun show, I got to start with the NBA 2K series. I just got to do it, man. I mean,
Nice.
every year they get money out of me, even if the game sucks.
It's
I
just the
can't
same game
explain
every
it.
time.
Yeah, it's pretty much, yeah. But I
haven't
still
played that in a
freaking buy it,
while.
especially when Booker's on the cover. You gotta buy it, man. And then I am a huge Batman fanboy. The Batman Arkham franchise, incredible.
Oh, that's
games,
another
man.
one. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a solid game right there. I would put that top 10. That's
Not
a
even
really
just
good game.
games though, like the story. Like if they ever made a movie based off of these,
I know.
oh my god,
I know. It's right there. It's
Yeah.
right there in front of them. But
And
honestly,
then-
guys, Batman vs Superman, the uncut version, that's probably the best one. But go ahead.
that actually was really
love
good.
that
I think that movie
Yeah.
gets way too much hate. And then just I don't want to go on a huge rant, but Gears of War and Star Wars Battlefront.
Yes.
Yeah, and same thing with the Gears of War. I think they're making like a Netflix series soon.
Oh, are they?
Yeah, I love Gears of War, man. Played all of them. First 3 are my favorite, but those games are still fun, man.
Yeah, I remember Gears of War is actually one of those games where it's like the duo in the same room.
Yeah.
You're playing. That's the most fun. Yeah.
So fun.
Actually, I beat that game with my sister. That's the only game we've ever played together.
It's awesome.
And we played that front to back. I don't know.
Shout out to my friend Alan, man. I wouldn't have discovered those games without him. Him and I played them, and we just so much fun, man. Good times.
Michael Call does ask any avid bowlers out there. John is. That's why he's injured, but he is. I don't really bowl. Do you bowl? My fingers hurt after one time, and I'm just done. It's fun,
I like
though.
bowling.
It's
Yeah, I
fun.
love bowling. It's a lot of fun. One of my friends, Jonathan's a huge bowler, but I don't really bowl too much.
No. Yeah, good question though. Big Sexy again. What do you think happened to Damion
I
Lee?
saw this question. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want me
What
to
do you
start
think?
with this one?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
I mean, I'm sure you and John have talked about it. I'm sure I've been on this podcast and talked about it with you guys, but I think it's just I doubt it's an injury because we haven't heard anything. He obviously would have been on the injury report. I don't know if it's just a second half slump or if maybe this was just Damion Lee all along, because I don't know what happened to that fourth quarter Lee, as I was calling him. Remember when he would show up and, hit the game winner against the Mavericks or hit big shots to get us back into the game and play good defense here and there. Like sometimes he gets in, he hits a couple shots and that's it. And maybe there's a scenario these next 2 games where Monty plays him like extended minutes and we see that version of Damion Lee again. But I also think there was a stretch where he just wasn't making threes and his 3-point percentage dropped. I don't know. I really wish I could answer this question. I would like to hear Monty Williams talk about this, but I don't know, man. But I will say this, man. If he's going to get any playoff minutes, he's got to hit shots. He's got to hit shots. So I don't know. Oh, you're on mute, Matthew.
Sorry, I had to cough probably.
No,
so
you're
that's
good,
why.
you're good.
He's the guy that has to play 3 to 5 minutes, come in 2 or 3 threes. If they don't go in, he comes out.
Yeah,
If
exactly.
they do go in, you leave him in. That's how I think of him now. And that's fine. That's what I thought of him when he came to the Suns. I didn't think of him anything crazy. He's doing too much with the ball. We don't need that.
Yeah.
So I just, that's the guy he is for me in the playoffs, if he gets any minutes for sure. One more question. My fave tech. Do you think the Suns played vanilla to give the Nuggets, to not give the Nuggets more info? Yeah, definitely. They're sitting over there. They're watching. Yeah. Suns are not going to give anything off. So that's another great take. Thanks.
I saw a few people on Twitter saying like, oh, maybe the Nuggets aren't starting their guys. So we're like surprised by them in the playoffs. And I'm like, I guess maybe from a momentum standpoint, that makes sense. But like, that's why you have scouts. That's why you have the assistant coaches watch film on other teams and then sit there with Devin Booker and DeAndre Ayton and say, you got to do this and that against Jokic and, Jamal Murray and all that. So that's an interesting thought, and that probably is correct, but I don't know.
Yeah,
I saw that trending, but
yeah, and I'm telling you, when they turned it up in the fourth, I'm like, this team,
exactly.
if this team will not be stopped.
That's why I was like, I kind of wanted them to stay in the game and win this game just to kind of like give a middle finger to them, man.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I know. But then you have to know too, the Nuggets hate the Suns, right? After 2 years ago. Like that round 2 matchup, if it goes to plan, which it probably will.
Probably. Yeah.
That's gonna be a battle.
Can't
That's
wait.
gonna be a battle, man. That hate
So
Jokic
pumped.
has to prove something this year. That's scary. It's kind of like a Giannis thing, where it's like he has to prove that he can be a champion because he's right there now. He's a guy that's next. He has to win a championship. So Booker's there. I think Booker's there, right? Booker's like, prove to me you can win a champion. After this year, if he doesn't win it, then it's like, all right,
This year or next. And that's what I was saying, man.
Yeah.
Like finals or bust this year, and then championship the year after that. Like we got to win a championship within the next 3 years.
Yeah.
And not to sound like a casual, but it might be the same thing with the Nuggets too, man. Like you got to do something with this team, win a championship, or you might have to. You're not trading Nikola Jokic, but you might have to do something with this roster or fire Mike Malone. I mean, sure, 50-win seasons are great and getting to the playoffs is great, but like if you're not winning a championship, what are you doing? So I don't know.
No, you're right. And they're just missing one piece.
Yeah,
They're
they are.
missing
Yeah,
one
they're-
guy like we were missing KD. That's just, it's as simple as that. That's how I feel. A lot of respect to them, but it just doesn't feel like it's there yet. But who knows?
They're deep. They are a
probably won
deep
it this
team,
year.
as we kind of saw tonight.
They
are a
are,
deep
but so
team,
were the
but
Suns.
yeah.
I mean, deep teams are fine. It comes down to me, the best two players on the court,
Preach.
like the best player on the court. That's what it comes down to me. That's how Giannis and the Bucks won, because he made his free throws and he was unstoppable.
Yeah.
The Suns were deep. They had a great team that year. It's just Giannis was that fucking good.
Exactly.
So, and
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
yeah. So I'm the sick Elvis. I don't know. He was always sick with chicken or something. What did he eat?
Seen that movie,
Eat a lot of
by the
chicken.
way? That movie was
3,000
incredible.
Miles of Graceland.
Or no, not that movie. The one that came out in 2022. Or
Oh no, is it
yeah.
good?
Oh, it was incredible, man. Austin
you liked
Butler
it?
as Elvis. Incredible performance.
Oh, that's awesome. I
Yeah.
don't like movies very much anymore. I'm really weird.
I'm saying, check out that Elvis movie, man. It's worth a watch.
Yeah,
At
I
least
did.
one
I
time.
stopped it. I'm sorry. I have a weird thing with like it's a biopic, right?
I think
that what
so,
they call it?
yeah.
I want to see the real stuff. Like, how did they really get to where they are?
Right.
Like, where's all the under the table dirty stuff that happens? You know what I mean?
Yeah, they did kind of. Well,
Did they go to that? Maybe I
sort of,
missed
but
it.
I think they did kind of push a lot of stuff to the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah, just like Elton
Yeah,
John.
I get your. I
Yeah,
see
it's
what
just
you're saying.
it's a gross industry. I just wish performers and actors would just do us their solid of being great and being entertainers, and then don't be so gross and weird. So subreddit stakeout. Only a few comments because I just pulled it up right now. All right, I'm on it. You can see it on my screen. So if you think I have notes, you can see I'm reading off subreddit. Who freaking cares if Paul has an assist or not? Call the game. So I guess I didn't get to watch TNT. Did you?
Yeah, I was watching the TNT one. I saw
Okay.
some people weren't able to watch it though. That's kind of scary, to be honest. I don't know what's going on.
I wasn't
with
able
those
to. It shut
situations.
off as soon as it went to Barkley and them. It's like it's blacked out. It's because the Suns didn't sell out, right?
That's
That was
crazy.
the
Because how many games in a row have we sold out? Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
This whole TV Bally Sports thing, it's just a wreck right now, man. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, as long as I haven't had a time. Well, you can just stream it for free too. If you have any issues, I'll send you a link.
Thanks.
So CP3 makes a chest pass in the backcourt. Reggie Miller says, "Is this going to be an assist?" So I guess that was a thing going on. So it must have been annoying. Yeah,
They did kind of make a good point about that, though, and that's why him not having or one assist in this game actually was surprising.
Yeah. There was actually a lot of talk too about just playing Kevin Durant too many minutes. So I guess from the opposing, they're like, "Are you seriously going to play Kevin Durant?" And that's the thing too. Like, I'm switched. I don't want them to play anymore. I want these games to be so meaningless. It doesn't matter. And if anything happens, he gets hurt. He gets hurt. I would be like, so what? If he gets in the playoffs, he's going to be hurt anyways if it gets hurt in these two games. But that's not the case. I mean, if if you can save him until it really matters, then I would do it too. So I don't know. That's again, this is another pathetic subreddit stakeout.
The Suns Jam Session subreddit stakeout.
All right. Well, did you have anything else on the game? We're gonna go into the next game. They do play. Oh my god!
I was just gonna say
Sunday they play the Jesus.
They play the Clippers Sunday.
Is it the Clippers?
Yeah, Clippers. Yeah, Lakers tomorrow. Clippers.
No, that's their
Sunday.
last game.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah, Lakers are tomorrow.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, Chris Paul and his 7 threes tonight, man. I mean, holy cow.
Yeah.
That again, like I was saying with Torrey Craig coming off of the bench, that's just another weapon, another unit, whatever you want to put it. It was incredible, man. Chris Paul legit took over when he needed to, and it was incredible. Chris Paul was so good, and if he can just stay consistent hitting that three, we are dangerous.
Yeah, he might be your jam star, right?
Jam star of the game.
Like, subscribe, 5 stars, 5 stars, 5 stars everywhere. Do all that good stuff. Please subscribe. Sons Geek channel, my channel, John and I's channel, Jam Session. Leave a review, all the fun stuff. Just hit the like button right now. Hit it.
Yes, sir. Hulk smash that like
Subscribe.
button, y'all.
Hit that. Do it all. So is Chris Paul your jam star of the game?
Yeah, I might have been a little early on that. My apologies. But, and
No
you know
worries.
me, whenever I'm on this show doing the Suns Jam star of the game, I like to always have honorable mentions. So I think I am going to go with Chris Paul. I mean, again, those 7 threes were huge. 9 for 15 shooting, by the way. But my honorable mention is Kevin Durant for everything we talked about earlier. 41 minutes, 29 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. And again, it's Kevin freaking Durant, man. Both of them were incredible, especially when Booker was inconsistent, not making shots. So those are my jam stars for the game. What about you?
Yeah, you know what? Excuse me. I'm going to give it to KD just because 29 points came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
I was like,
Especially
what's this guy doing out there? And all of a sudden,
Yeah.
in the fourth quarter, he's grabbing that rebound down, just like moving people around,
Cooking people.
into the line. I'm like, all right,
Cooking.
29 points. Like, we've seen KD so far in ways where it's like, that's not even it. We haven't seen the full KD yet.
Oh, yeah.
Like,
that's scary.
We're going to be getting those 40, 45-point game. I'm not going to say 50. Him and Book, just 40-40. I just keep picturing LeBron James and Kyrie when they were the 40-40 guys in the finals. Like, it's not going to be every night. I'm just saying that's something to look forward to for sure. Yeah, let's go through a few of them. Yurwa Arifin, Slim Reaper for sure. Kiko G, Real Money Sniper is a jam star. Los Suns, Kevin Durant jam. Christian Zabrowski, jam star is the Liz Geek. So is that Lissy Suns Geek?
Yeah, I was like, is that our dynamic?
Well, Lissy is with an S, but that's it's
cool.
Double S, but yeah, either way, it's still a weird last name. Kobe Brannigan is Chris Paul. I'm just pronouncing all these names.
I'm so bad at pronouncing names.
Oh, did we do this? Yeah.
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we'll just say we did. I don't think we did, but
we did.
We'll just say we did. John Nelson, KD, and Bamf CP3. Suns Geek says, "Stop talking because you're annoying, Matthew. Your voice sounds like crap." But I think that's it for tonight. I'm just excited that the season's almost over. I really am. After Sunday, kind of a week off. Do you have any plans going forward? Oh, excuse me. Woo. Do you have any plans going forward? Any extra content coming out? What are you going to be doing with your week off between games?
Gonna do my best to pump out as much Phoenix Suns content possible, and I've sort of talked to you and John about this. It's a long overdue show to get both of you on my channel and have me host, you know what I mean?
Please.
So I want to do some kind of show with you guys, so that is the announcement right here and now, especially when your voice is 100%. Want to do something with you. Maybe we'll talk about who we're versing in the playoffs, maybe like a Q&A session, kind of like this. But beyond that, I have some other guests kind of lined up in a way. Maybe I'll do like a post-game show for a non-Suns game. Just going to keep the content going. I'm slowly but surely bringing back that Reacting to Suns Twitter series because it's a lot of fun to do. The hardest part is honestly just finding the funniest tweets. So stay tuned for more Suns content, y'all. Always pumping out Suns stuff and just absolutely love what I'm doing. And I love what you guys are doing over here at the Suns Jam Session podcast. Also, real quick, want to give a shout out to Bright Side of the Sun. They were nice enough to let me recently contribute to their Inside the Suns weekly thing that they did. I was, I made a writing appearance for once. I'm far from a writer. Yeah, very far from a writer. Cool. Yeah, they let me write on their recent thing. We talked about like Suns duos and the Suns playoff opponents and all that, and it was a lot of fun.
That's very
cool. Shout out to Bright Side of the Sun. So yeah, y'all just You guys know the drill. Hulk smash that like button and subscribe to both the Suns Jam Session and Suns Geek.
Yeah, and Suns Jam Session podcast, we will be having Bill Simmons, Tom Cruise, Zach Lowe.
Oh man,
Renee Zellweger. They'll all be on. They'll all
Renee
be on.
Zellweger, I think
4 days, 4 pods.
Ooh.
I mean,
they get like 2 million views and hundreds of thousands of subscribers and followers.
Yeah, we're gonna be going on a plane to some private island after, so I'm excited. But everybody, thanks for joining again. Like, subscribe, do all the good stuff, like I said earlier, and go home and love your family.